Tat Tattvam Asi Aham Brahmasmi. With these beautiful verses of Adi Shankaracharya, I, Pamela Maiti, will now start the presentation of the great legendary philosopher Sri Adi Shankaracharya. Who was Adi Shankaracharya? Adi Shankara, also called Adi Shankaracharya, was an Indian Vedic scholar, philosopher, and teacher of Advaita Vedanta. His true impact lives in his iconic representation of Hindu religion and culture. Adi Shankaracharya stated, I am other than name, form, and action. My nature is even free. I am self, the supreme unconditional Brahman. I am pure awareness, always non-dual. That is, according to Shankaracharya, the one unchanging entity, that is Brahman, alone is real, while changing entities do not have absolute existence. He placed great emphasis on the study of Upanishads as necessary and sufficient means to gain self-liberating knowledge. Shankara's primary objective was to explain how moksha, that is, liberation from suffering and samsara, which is the cycle of birth and death, is attained in this life by recognizing the true identity of Jivatman as Atman Brahman. Shankara also emphasized the need for and the role of Guru, which may also be said as Acharya or teacher, for such knowledge. He portrayed as one who reconciled the various sects, that is, Vaishnavism, Shaivism, and Shaktism. With the introduction of the Panchayatana form of worship, which is the worship of 5 deities, Ganesha, Surya, Vishnu, Shiva, and Devi, saying that all deities were but different forms of the one Brahman, the invisible Supreme Being. Let's now know the background of the great philosopher Adi Shankaracharya. Adi Shankara was born in the southern Indian state of Kerala in a village named Kaladi. His parents were an aged childless couple who led a devout life of service to the poor. They named the child Shankara, meaning giver of prosperity. Shankara was attracted to the life of sannyasa, hermit, from early childhood. His urge to become a sannyasi, which was disapproved by his mother. One day, at the age of 8, when Shankara went to take bath with his mother in a river, he was caught by a crocodile. He calls out to his mother to give him permission to become a sannyasin, or else the crocodile will kill him. The mother agrees and Shankara was freed. He then leaves home for education. He reaches a Saivite sanctuary along a river in a north-central state of India and becomes the disciple of a teacher named Govinda Bhagavat Pada. Shankara travelled within India, Gujarat to Bengal and participated in public philosophical debates with different orthodox schools of Hindu philosophy, as well as heterodox traditions such as Buddhist, Jains, Arhatas, Sangatas, and Charvakas. Who was Shankaracharya as an incarnation of? Shankara was a Vaishnavite who came to be presented as an incarnation of Lord Shiva. Shankara had a number of disciple scholars during his travel. He established the Dasanami Sampradaya, the order of Swamis, a Hindu monastic tradition of single staff renunciation. Ekadandi Sannyasi or Ekadandis. From the 14th century onwards, hagiographies were composed in which he is portrayed as establishing the Dandanami Sampradaya, organizing a section of the Ekadandi monks under an umbrella grouping of 10 names. According to tradition, Adi Shankara organized the Hindu monks of these 10 sects or names under 4 mathas, with the headquarters at Dwarka in the west, Jagannath Puri in the east, Srinagari in the south, and Badrikashrama in the north. Each matha was headed by one of his 4 men disciples, who each continues the Vedanta Sampradaya. Nirvana Shatakam or Atma Shatakam is a beautiful hymn which is the song of the self written by Sri Adi Shankaracharya. I am conscious, I am bliss, I am Shiva, I am Shiva, without hate, without infatuation, without craving, without greed, neither arrogance nor conceit, never jealous, I am. Neither dharma nor artha, neither karma nor moksha am I. I am conscious, I am bliss, I am Shiva, I am Shiva. Without sins, without merits, without elation, without sorrow, neither mantra nor rituals, neither pilgrimage nor Vedas, neither the experiencer nor experienced, nor the experience am I. I am conscious, I am bliss, I am Shiva, I am Shiva. Without fear, without death, without discrimination, without caste, neither father nor mother, never born, I am. Neither kid nor kin, neither teacher nor student am I. I am conscious, I am bliss, I am Shiva, I am Shiva. Without form, without figure, without resemblance am I. Vitality of all senses, in everything I am. Neither attached nor released am I. I am conscious, I am bliss, I am Shiva, I am Shiva. Such a beautiful hymn. Now let's proceed to the philosophy and practices of Adi Shankaracharya. Adi Shankaracharya's major works include Hindu scriptures like the Upanishads, Brahma Sutras, and Bhagavad Gita, collectively known as Prasthanatrayi, which form the foundation of Advaita Vedanta philosophy. Affirming his belief in one eternal, unchanging reality, the absolute Brahman, and the individual self Atman. Adi Shankaracharya's Advaita Vedanta philosophy, asserting that the individual self, that is Atman, is identical to the supreme reality, that is Brahman. It says that the perceived diversity and multiplicity in the world are ultimate illusory, that is Maya, and that liberation, which is moksha, comes from realizing this non-dual truth. Adi Shankaracharya believed that the individual soul and the supreme soul are like waves and the ocean. The waves appear to be different from the ocean, but are made up of the same water substance. Similarly, Atman and Brahman may appear different, but are in the essence the same. There are 2 names for the same eternal reality. Through ignorance, the Atman sees itself as distinct from Brahman, but his philosophy of Advaita Vedanta reveals the truth beyond duality. 3 arguments that he has placed. First, oneness of consciousness. He said, all beings experience the consciousness that is essentially one and uniform. This universal consciousness is Brahman. Secondly, he said, ultimate reality does not change. That is, the world is full of instances of transformation where the ultimate reality does not change. For example, say ice transforms into water and then vapor, but the substance of hydrogen and oxygen remains the same. In a similar way, the individual soul appears different but is ultimately the Supreme Brahman. And thirdly, he said the impossibility of infinite regress. He said the individual soul could not be ultimately different from Brahman, otherwise, an infinite number of souls would exist. That is impossible. There must be a first principle or the ultimate reality, which is Brahman. What are the several verses and their arguments of Sri Adi Shankaracharya? The first one says, Brahman as the sole reality. The verse is, Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya Jivo Brahmaiva Napara. That is, Brahman is real, the world is an illusion, and the individual self is not different from Brahman. This verse encapsulates the core of Advaita Vedanta. It posits that Brahman, the ultimate reality, is the only truth, while the world we perceive through our senses is ultimately unreal, an illusion, that is Maya. The individual self, that is Atman, is not separate from Brahman. It is identical to it. His second verse says, Maya as the veil of illusion. The verse is as, Maya chadayate jananam yana mudho jayate jana. That is, by Maya, knowledge is veiled, by which the ignorant are born. Maya, often translated as illusion or cosmic delusion, is what veils our true nature and causes us to perceive the world as separate and real. It is the power that projects the illusion of a separate self and a diverse world. And lastly, he said, Moksha through self-realization. The verse is as follows, Aham Brahmasmi. I am Brahman. The path to liberation or moksha lies in realizing the identity of the individual self, that is Atman, with Brahman. This realization is not achieved through rituals or external actions, but through self-inquiry and the removal of the veil of Maya. While psychology focuses on empirical observation and therapeutic interventions, Advaita Vedanta emphasizes self-realization through introspection and understanding of non-dual reality. However, some modern psychological approaches like mindfulness can be seen as complementary to the Advaita understanding of mental well-being. Adi Shankaracharya emphasized that ritualistic actions are secondary and do not lead to liberation. He believed the goal of human life is attaining self-knowledge through discrimination of the real from the unreal. After self-realization, a person views the world and the other souls with detachment and equal vision. They see the Supreme Self in all beings. Let's now understand contemporary psychology versus Advaita Vedanta by Adi Shankaracharya. Contemporary psychology mainly primarily concerned with observable behaviors, mental processes, cognition, perception, memory, and their underlying neural mechanisms, whereas Advaita Vedanta focuses on with the nature of reality, the individual self, and the relationship between them. The methods used in contemporary psychology employ scientific methods, including experiments, statistic analysis, and clinical observations to understand human behavior and mental health. Whereas Advaita Vedanta methodology emphasizes introspection, self-inquiry, and the study of scriptures, primarily the Upanishads, to realize the non-dual nature of reality. The key concepts of contemporary psychology includes cognitive theories, how we process information, behavioral theories, learning through conditioning, humanistic approaches, focus on personal growth and self-actualization, and various therapeutic models like cognitive behavioral therapy. whereas the key concept of Advaita Vedanta highlights the illusionary nature of the world Maya, the identity of Atman and Brahman, and the importance of knowledge Janana for liberation moksha. The goal of contemporary psychology is to understand, predict, and modify behavior, alleviate psychological distress, and promote mental well being. And the goal of Advaita Vedanta is to attain liberation from the cycle of birth and death samsara by realizing the true nature of reality and one's own self. Adi Shankaracharya's Advaita Vedanta philosophy and its influence in the development of psychological theories and practices. Adi Shankaracharya's philosophy of Advaita Vedanta significantly influenced the development of psychological theories and practices, particularly those related to self-inquiry, detachment, and the pursuit of inner peace. His philosophy provides a framework for understanding the nature of consciousness, the mind, and the path to liberation, which are relevant in addressing modern-day psychological challenges. Let's get more detailed insights of how Advaita Vedanta contributes to contemporary psychological thought. The first one is self-inquiry and the nature of consciousness. This focus on self-inquiry resonates with modern psychological approaches that explore self-awareness, mindfulness, and introspection as tools for personal growth and well-being. The Advaita concept of consciousness as the ultimate reality, with the mind and body as temporary and changing manifestations, offer a unique perspective on the nature of consciousness that can perform contemporary discussion in psychology. Secondly, his detachment and the illusion of the world Maya. Advaita Vedanta posits that the world as we perceive it is an illusion Maya projected by the mind. This understanding can be applied to modern psychological concepts like attachment and suffering. By recognizing the impermanence and illusory nature of worldly experiences, individuals can cultivate detachment and rescue suffering. The concept of Maya encourages individuals to question their attachments to external objects and experiences, promoting a sense of equanimity and inner freedom. This perspective aligns with therapeutic approaches that aim to help individuals develop healthy coping mechanisms for dealing with life's challenges by reducing their emotional dependence on external factors. And lastly, path to liberation or moksha. Advaita Vedanta offers a path to liberation, moksha, through the realization of the true self Atman and its identity with Brahman. This path involves understanding the nature of ignorance, avidya, and overcoming it through knowledge, janana. The concept of moksha as a state of liberation from suffering and the cycle of birth and death resonates with the human desires for peace, happiness, and fulfillment. Contemporary psychological practices can draw inspiration from this concept by focusing on helping individuals find meaning, purpose, and inner peace in their lives. Let's now conclude by knowing Adi Shankara's philosophy's impact shaped the field of psychology and understanding human behavior and consciousness. Adi Shankaracharya's Advaita Vedanta philosophy has significantly influenced the understanding of human behavior and consciousness by emphasizing the non-dual nature of reality and the importance of self-realization. His teachings, particularly concept of Maya illusion, highlight how our perception of the world, including our sense of self, is often a misinterpretation of reality leading to suffering and attachment. Shankara's emphasis on detachment from worldly desires and the pursuit of inner peace can be valuable for addressing issues related to anxiety, attachment, and dissatisfaction. Shankara's ideas have influenced various schools of thoughts in Indian philosophy and continue to inspire contemporary thinkers, spiritual teachers, and researchers. His concepts of Maya and self-realization are relevant to contemporary discussion identity. consciousness, and the search for meaning in life. His emphasis on self inquiry and the interconnectedness of all beings has resonated with modern perspective on holistic well being and social responsibility. And with this, I acknowledge a special thanks to my mentor, Ms. Sintha Hans, for allowing me to accomplish my wonderful learning journey through this project about Adi Shankaracharya. I have learned more about Hinduism and self realization throughout my research. A special thanks to AFT for providing the platform where I can accomplish my learning about psychology, which will not only help me to understand other people's feelings but also really understand and uplift me as a humankind. Thank you.